Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Hope you are doing good. Last session we have seen about e-commerce, right? And in this session we are going to see the development and growth of electronic commerce, okay? We have seen the heading in last session itself, the first wave of electronic commerce that was in the year 1995 to 2003, and the second wave of electronic commerce is from the year 2004 to 2009, and the third wave of electronic commerce is from 2010 to present, right? So this development and growth of electronic commerce, that means this economist describe the four distinct ways which occurs in the industrial revolution. Okay, in each waves different business techniques are followed and they were successful also. Okay, this e-commerce and the information revolution brought about by the internet will go through such series of waves. Okay, here in this diagram if you see, you'll understand. Let's see the waves first. First wave of electronic commerce, right? First wave of electronic commerce in the year 1995 to 2003. Okay, the dot com, DOTCOM, the dot com companies of first wave are the mostly American companies. Okay, this dot com companies of this 1995 to 2003, they were the American companies, and their websites were in English only. Okay, the dot com bubble had created a big investment to this first wave companies. As this internet was made for read only purposes, the network technology also has grown from the starting stage, right? The bandwidth and network security was very low in that starting stage, or the initial, um, when the initial process is done in this first wave, right? Only EDI and unstructured email remained as a mode of communication exchange between the businesses. That means unstructured email. That email won't be having the perfect structure uh, to give all the information there. That was only the way of exchange between the maybe that between the customers and the sellers, or maybe the other businessmen men, and maybe the between the clients, and to get the feedbacks, everything. This email, unstructured email, and this EDI was only the way of communication, right? Here in this first wave, here these companies enjoyed the first move advantage, and the customers were left with no options. They had to do that. They had no other choice, and that was the first move here, right? And the next one is second wave of electronic commerce. That is in the year 2004 to 2009. This second wave is the rebirth of the e-commerce after the dot-com bust. Okay. Here, the second wave, this is considered as the global wave. That means here the sellers who are doing business will be from various places, will be from many countries, and they'll be doing it in many languages. In first wave, we saw that it was only in English, and it was a American. It was mostly they were the American companies. Here in the second wave, this business was done by people from various countries and in many languages also. So this language translation and the currency conversion was focused in this second wave websites. Okay, in the second wave websites, the thing which are focused, or the main thing they have done here is translating the languages and converting the currencies of various countries, right? And this companies used their own internal funds and gradually expanded their e-commerce opportunities also. They had some fund inside them itself. In the from internal funds itself, they took the money and they did it for the expansion of this e-commerce, right? Here, as a result of the growth of e-commerce was slow and steady. The rapid development of the network technology and the websites and all became interactive, right? The Web 2.0, a period of social media. That time only the social medias and all came, and this web and all became so interactive, right? They offered the consumers more choices of buying. This increased the web users and this was nourished by the e-commerce companies. That means mostly in B2C companies only during the second wave. Okay. The next one is third wave. Third wave of electronic commerce is from 2010 to present. This third wave, this one brought on by the mobile technologies. This connects the user for real-time and on-demand transactions through the mobile technologies. Okay, the term Web 3.0, they summarize the various characteristics of the future internet, and this included the artificial intelligence, semantic web, and generic database and all also. Right here in this third wave, right? This is the third wave of electronic commerce in the year 2010 to present. This is brought only by the mobile technologies, right? This connects the users very easily and through the mobile technologies, right? And it has various characteristics of future internet like artificial intelligence, semantic web, generic database and all, right? Next we are going to see about classifications of e-commerce business models. Here in page number 206, if you see in your book, they have given the details about dot-com bubble and dot-com bust. Okay, here in this previous part, the development and growth of electronic commerce in the first wave, second wave and all, we saw about this bust and bubble of dot com, right? Dot com bust and dot com bubble. They have given the detailed explanation about this dot com bubble and dot com bust in this page, right? You just read it and get knowledge about this dot com bubble and dot com bust. Okay, now we are moving to classification of e-commerce business models. Okay, business organizations, consumers, and government. They are also known as administrators. The organization, the consumer, and the government. Right? Here they are the major parties in e-commerce, right? Sometimes when a worker also indulge in this system, sometimes only the administrations and the consumers and the business organizations will be there, right? Based upon the entities involved in this transaction, this e-commerce can be classified into some categories. The model in which the government plays as an entity is termed as e-governance. Okay, the model in which government plays as an entity, we'll say it as e-governance. Okay, let's see the categories now. B2B, that is business to business. B2C, that is business to consumer. And B2G, that is business to government. C2B, that is consumer to business. C2C, that is consumer to consumer. C2G is consumer to government. G2B, that is government to business. G2C, that is government to consumer, and G2G, government to government. Here first one is business to business. Here in this business to business, this e-commerce commercial transaction take place between the different business organizations. This is done through the internet only. For example, if you see a company is there, a cycle company is buying a tire from another company for their cycles. When compared to other models, the value per transaction in this business to business transaction is high because of the bulk purchase, right? The company also might get the advantage of discounts on the bulk purchase. Outsourcing and offshoring are generally associated with this business to business e-commerce. That means if a company's work is hired to another company, it would be termed as outsourcing. And offshoring means if a work is outsourced to a company which is outside its own country, we'll say it as offshoring. Okay, here in this business to business means the commercial transaction will take place between the different business organizations through internet. Okay, here they have given an example. If a company, if a bike company or a cycle company is buying the tire or some any other part from another company, when compared to other normal business, if they'll be ordering for bulk, right? So they'll be getting it for discount. Here they have given two terms, outsourcing and offshoring. if a company's work is hired to another company, we'll say it is outsourcing. Outsourcing. They are giving that work to another company, outsource. And offshoring means if the work is outsourced to a company which is in some other country, which is in a different country, we'll say it is offshoring. Offshoring means outside its own country, right? That is offshoring. And outsourcing means work is hired to another company, right? Next one is business to consumer. Here, business to consumer means here commercial transaction takes place between the business firms and their consumers itself. This means here what happens means direct trade between the companies and the end consumers. This is also done through internet. B2C, that is business to consumer companies will sell some information or sell some products or some services to the customer through online in a more personalized dynamic environment, and this is considered as a real competitor for a traditional storekeeper. That means one company is running or one shop is running in online and they are just reaching the consumers and they are just selling, right? So who will be the competitors? The shopkeepers are the competitors, right? The shopkeepers are selling the products by keeping a shop, right? Those storekeepers will see these business to consumer category as the competitors for them, right? Here also they have given an example, a book company is selling books to customers. This mode is intended to benefit the consumer, right? And can say this business to consumer e-commerce works as a retail store over the internet. That means if you want a book, than going to a bookstore and searching that, we'll just search it online and we'll get it, right? So the people who are keeping the bookstore will be having a small loss because this is available through internet, right? And the next one is business to government. Business to government means this is a business model which refers to business organizations, and this sells some products or services or informations to government. Okay, business to government. So this here what happens means the business is done to the administration or the government. Okay, here in other words, when a company gets paid for its goods or services by the government through internet, it is called business to government. Okay, if a business is done between the business persons and the government means we'll say this mode of business is business to government. That is B to G government. Right here, if you see an example, the government or the administration buys a laptop for students. Means we'll say it as what business to government, right? They'll just order it through online and they'll get it for the company or some college students or school students, means they'll be ordering it for that particular college or school, right? So this is business to government. And the next one is consumer to business. Consumer to business means C2B. This can be described as a form of e-commerce where the transactions is originated by the consumer. Here the consumer will fix a requirement. That means consumer will ask for a need or they'll ask for a specific price for a service, and uh, or they may ask for a product or for a service or anything. Here consumer to a business model means this is also we can say it as a reverse auction model. Reverse auction model means this is just a reverse one of business to consumer, right? Here the customer will have a price, will fix a price for a service or a product, and this the e-commerce business entity will match the requirement of the consumer to the best possible extent. Here they have given an example, maybe a travel website, any one travel website. A consumer may specify his date of travel, his source, his destination, and the number of tickets and the range of hotels and everything. The website will bring the options for that particular date and that particular place and that particular cost of hotel, right? Through websites we can generate the revenue through internet also, and the link or the advertisement sponsors or maybe even small commission in every booking is taken for the business end, right? Here the name, example, name your price website. In this website, if you see, you will be, you can give the, your requirement and also your affordable price. You will say a price, and according to that price, the service or the product will be suggested for you, right? So this is consumer to business, right? If you see some Make My Trip or yatra.com or like that, some travel websites and all, first when you are going inside itself, it will ask you for your budget or your destination or your what you want, like that it will ask, and according to our entry or according to our options only, it will bring the options for us. If it is a travel to Malaysia means it, and if you are giving a budget of 50,000 or 30,000 means, according to that budget they'll be giving the hotels or they'll be giving the uh, flight tickets and everything, right? So that is consumer to business. Next one is consumer to consumer. That is consumer to consumer means in e-commerce, this provides an opportunity for trading of products or it may be a services also among the consumers itself who are connected through the internet. Here in brief, if you see, when something is bought and sold between two consumers using this internet, we'll say it as consumer to consumer, right? When any one product is bought and that is sold between two consumers itself. Right here, the websites acts as the platform to do the transaction. The electronic tools and the internet infrastructures are employed to support the transaction between the individuals. Here, two consumers are acting as the business side and also the client side, and they are itself doing the business. Right here, it means that a consumer would contact a business in search of a suitable customer, right? Most of the auction websites and matrimonial websites are looking on this methodology. For example, if a consumer wants to sell his property, they can post the advertisement, and if anyone is willing to buy a property also, they'll also post an advertisement in that same website. So both side, the selling side and also the buying side, both of them, both are the consumers and both will be posting ads in that website, right? Here, two consumers can get in touch with each other for maybe a sale, maybe for buying or for a property or for matrimonial purposes or anything, right? For any business also. Here, that is consumer to consumer. That means here, if you are going to sell a product, you can just post an ad in that website. If you want a product also, you can post that I need this product, like that. So whoever is having that product will be saying you that I have this product, so you can get it from them. Like with consumer to consumer, business means both ends, the consumers can be in touch and they can give the required product for the other consumer, right? And the next one we are going to see is consumer to government. Here, citizens as consumers and government engage in C2G e-commerce. That means here an individual consumer interacts with the government. That means here in this model usually include the income tax or the house tax payments, fees for some certificates or some documents. People will pay for renewal of that license online only, they'll be paying. This may also fall under this category, this consumer to government. That means government will be having some registration amount or the renewal amount for some particular services, right? These all will come under this consumer to government section, right? In this section, consumer to government means the main thing is we are paying taxes, right? When you buy something, we are paying taxes. Or if you are running a company or a hotel, means you will be having the license for that, and each year or maybe for 3 years or 5 years you have to renew it, right? So that renewal purposes for getting, for paying the tax, everything will be doing it online and will be paying it to the government, right? So this is consumer to government, right? The next one is government to business. That means here this is closely related to business to government. That means here this refers to a business model where Government will provide services or the information or a product to a business organization. This may be for a formal also, like check over bid for a road project. For if government needs road work to be done, they will give that work to some other business parties for it will be like a contract, right? For maybe for building a bridge, government will be giving the contract to a private or a separate company or a construction company, and the work will be done, right? So that these and all will come under government to business. This is a part of e-governance only. This will provide information about the business rules, the requirements, the permission which is needed for starting a new business, or any other specifications in its portal itself. The main aim of this government to business is to reduce the burden on the business and provide one-stop access to information, thereby the economy can be also boosted. Right here, if you see ebiz.gov.in, in this website, if you see, this is a government to business website, right? Here, what is government to business means? This refers to a business model where the government will be providing the services to a business organization, right? Have you got a clear idea about this government to business? If government needs a work to be done and they don't have enough experienced people to that particular to do that particular job, they'll be hiring or they'll be giving that job to some other third party, like some other business, and they'll be getting people from to work from there, right? So this is government will be handing over the work to a business, that is government to business. And the next one is government to consumer. Government to consumer means this is the same as consumer to government only. Here the government will provide a platform for all the people to get its service or maybe the product or maybe the information through internet. The services may be for issuing a certificate through online, or here they have given an example, csc.gov.in, that is government to citizens, like that one website is there. Here if you see, the government is giving access to the consumers. They can directly uh, reach that website and they can get any certificates or whatever they need. They can just fill up the forms and they can just do all the procedures, and they can if they are completing that steps, they'll be getting the certificates through online itself, right? And the last section here is government to government. Government to government is online interaction between government organizations or between the departments which is running inside government itself, right? This is usually a non-commercial thing. This government to government, the main objective or the principle here is to implement the e-governance than commerce, right? Here in this model, in e-governance, this involves distributing the data or the information between its departments itself or between its people who are working as a agency itself, right? This G2G system can be classified into two types. One is internal facing and other one is external facing. Internal facing means we can say it as local level also. Local level means joining up a single government bureaucracy. That is, this is joining a single group of government's bureaucracy. That is, single group of people who are working in a single department. External facing means that is international level. Here joining up a multiple government bureaucracy. Okay. Here they have given that government itself will need a product or a service or a information, they'll be accessing through online, and another it may be a single group or a multiple group or a multiple departments also. From them they'll be getting the informations or the services or the products or the data which they need, right? So that is government to government. Here in this G2G system, it is classified into two types: internal facing and local facing, right? This this government to business, this and all these classifications of e-commerce business models you would have learned last year itself, or you would have learned in your commerce subject also. So this will be easy for you. This here in our computer application, we are seeing the same business models in e-commerce, that is electronically. That means you know what is business to consumer, business to government, consumer to business, consumer to consumer, consumer to government, government to business, government to consumer, government to government. You know what is the meaning. Here, everything is done through online, right? That's the only difference in this question. You would have learned this question in commerce itself, right? So that's all for today. Next session we'll see about e-commerce revenue models and all. So today we have seen about this business models, e-commerce business model classifications, and we have seen about development and growth of electronic commerce, right? Thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care, bye.